War has been around for as long as the world has existed. This brutal tradition has been the catalyst behind some of the biggest shifts and changes to the way the world operates and how different countries interact with one another. There are many different reasons the wars begin, such as religious disagreements or territorial disputes. Although the way wars have been fought have changed throughout the time, the causes of wars have not changed.
The following is an example where territorial conflict is a cause of war. India and Pakistan have been in conflict over the Kashmir region since they split in 1947. This region has been disputed between the two countries since 1971. India and Pakistan have not been in war over the region in 20 years. Within the last few years, tensions have been heightened and protests have occurred. Most recently, on February 14th, Pakistan bombed a piece of Kashmir that India possesses where 40 people were killed. Source from Time Magazine, Perego 2019, and from a journal article by Guillaume Bayer and Boskert 2018.
Turning now to in the South Asia region, tensions are high between India and Pakistan as both countries order airstrikes against each other. Both countries have nuclear weapons. Pakistan says it shot down 2 Indian warplanes and captured one of their pilots.
This is still happening along the country's borders in the disputed territory of Kashmir, a historic hotbed of conflict.
Creating coalitions such as the UN are an important first step to solving the global problem of war. The United Nations, for example, is made up of 193 countries throughout the world. These countries all subscribe to the specific values and rules about how and when to use their militaries. Within the United Nations, there is something called the Security Council. This council is made up of 15 members, 10 of which rotate, but 5 of which are permanent. These 5 are referred to as the Big Five. These are the countries with the 5 strongest militaries, such as the United States of America, the United Kingdom, France, Russia, and China. By creating councils such as these, the rest of the world become afraid to rebel. If they do rebel, they are faced with the large task of fighting the 5 strongest militaries in the world. Although the UN has its holes, such as the different ideals between the countries, it provides a viable solution to war if all countries subscribe to the same rules. Through your studies in college, which included international relations, did you ever come across the topic of war and religion?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It seems that regardless of what war you look at, regardless of the time period or how long the conflict lasted, every single war can be traced back to some sort of religious difference as a cause.
In this article, Sir Arthur Salter states that every war at some period, if it lasted long enough, became a holy war. Do you feel this is the best case, or is this a false way to describe wars?
No, I think this is absolutely true. I mean, regardless of what war you study, religion gets brought into the conversation. Even something with an obvious non-religious cause, like the conflict between the United States and Iraq following the incidents of September 11th, which obviously was started because of those incidents on September 11th. The longer that the war lasts, religion becomes more and more at the forefront, and the extreme views of one group differing with the views of the other.
Mental health, including refugees, has been one of the ethical issues of war. In a study of 278 refugees from the Middle East, for example, especially of Iraq and Iran, they unfortunately experienced different types of suffering, such as psychological and physical. Reasons vary, with the top 3 being their background, political views, and faith. Source from Song, Subica, Kaplan, Toll, and Dijon, 2018. An example of where a refugee develops mental health problems is the conflict of Israel and the Gaza Strip. Whenever these two regions are in a disagreement or not in a ceasefire, people's lives will be ruined, as far as not having a place to live and people losing their lives. Source from the New York Times by Halpfinger 2019. Another solution is to educate the world about peaceful methods of change. That method is called positive peace, which is based on the common framework of universal values such as respect for the human dignity and rights, justice, the ideals of democracy, nonviolence, tolerance, patience, and dynamic. Rakshani, page 466, 2017.